This is Talk Business and Politics with Roby Brock.
Welcome to today's Talk Business and Politics Daily. I'm Roby Brock. We are joined today to talk about the creative economy, arts, and what it can mean for Arkansas. Todd Herman is the Arkansas Arts Center Executive Director. Thank you so much for being here. Dill Boyette, CEO of Boyette Strategic Advisors, and a board member of the Arkansas Arts Center for at least 3 years, maybe going on 4? 5?
It's 5. Roby.
You told me 3.5 earlier there, so.
I think it's more like 5.
I think 5.
And we were talking a little bit before the camera started rolling here. I'm young enough to remember when Dill Boyette was the AEDC director for the state of Arkansas. Back in your teens.
Close to it.
Exactly. Thank you both for being here. Let's talk about the $70 million makeover of the Arkansas Arts Center. I love to kind of start these conversations of what originated this conversation to do this? What was the impetus for doing this? Somebody had an idea.
Yes, well, it came out of our strategic planning. And as we were envisioning sort of the next 50 years for the Arkansas Arts Center, we were kind of considering what that meant in terms of how we could better serve this community. And as we started to think about branching out our programs and how we could expand everything that we're doing at the Arts Center, we found that there were some limitations that the building had that were going to be difficult to overcome to achieve our goals and achieve our dreams and our vision. So we started to think about what would it mean to do something to this building and do what? You know, are we talking about a renovation? Are we talking about an expansion, a combination of both, which is eventually what happened? And so as that conversation kind of went on, we started to gain some momentum with some people in the community. And we started to have real serious conversations about what a renovation of the Arts Center could look like and what the scope of that project could be.
Any pushback from the board on this, or were you at the point, and other board members at a point where it's like, it is time to start thinking about this next 50 years?
I never recall any pushback. I remember those strategic planning sessions that we had on Saturdays where we had really good attendance from the board. And this was all part of the discussion. It was about the future of the Arts Center and what we were going to need to do to be relevant in the future. And part of that relevancy was a facility, a new facility, or a renovated facility, re-energized facility, because we have one of the best collections in the world, especially our drawings collection.
Right.
And we needed to have the right place to showcase that.
So tell me, what bang for your buck do you get for $70 million? What does one get in an art center for $70 million?
You actually get quite a bit for $70 million. Some of it you see, some of it you don't see, which is typical of any renovation and expansion. So things like HVAC systems and plumbing and electrical and fire prevention, all that sort of thing.
Well, and there's some higher standards that have to be met for that because of the
absolutely,
art.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
And so those upgrades needed to happen. But what you'll see are increased public spaces that meet the needs of today's visitors. So those expectations. So when you go to a museum or an arts center like ours, you want these kind of spaces that are architecturally significant, so you feel like you're in an important space, and that show the art to its best advantage, and that there are places where groups in the community can come to gather and to be around creativity and be in a cultural atmosphere and do any number of things. So in some ways, art centers and museums become kind of museums and community centers together, sort of gathering places and arts education, cultural centers. Mm-hmm. And so those kind of spaces will exist in the new
You
art
had
center.
your finger raised there. You were an exclamation moment there.
Well, Roby, you will appreciate this, I think. Our firm, or my firm, are in the process of completing pro bono, by the way, first time we've ever done a pro bono project, but an economic impact analysis for the Art Center so that we would have a baseline of the last 5 years of the impact that the Arkansas Arts Center has had on Little Rock and Pulaski County the last 5 years. We're in the process of finalizing that now, and that impact alone, as it currently exists, with no new investment, no new construction, all of those types of things, the impact is 50 to 70 million, depending on whether you're talking about Little Rock or Pulaski County. So take that 70 million number that you're talking about 5 years from now, And what we're going to commit to do is 5 years from now do an impact so that we will know exactly what that investment has meant to Little Rock, to Pulaski County, and the state of Arkansas.
Well, talk to
which
me.
it will be absolutely unbelievable.
Tell me a little bit too, because I think you bring this economic development perspective to it. Todd, you weigh in as well. Placemaking, just building communities that are more livable for people. The arts are a huge part of that. The creative economy is a big part of that. We've obviously seen Northwest Arkansas blossom since Crystal Bridges has been up there, and you see so many other things coming online. The new UA School of Arts, for example. These are the things that you have to recruit workers, people to live, people to fulfill these businesses in the future. I'm not off base on this, am I?
No. Arts and culture is one of the key elements for quality of life and to attract businesses. And mayors know that. The League of Mayors wrote a document kind of talking about the creative economy and museums and other cultural entities really creating that sense of place that you're talking about. These are destinations, these are places where families can go and experience a wide range of activities. In our case, the Art Center's free, so that's great. I mean, that's egalitarian and anyone can come and experience the Art Center. But you're absolutely right that those kinds of quality of life issues are so important in attracting and maintaining workforce. And it's key that the Art Center be that for Little Rock.
This is anecdotal, but this is what I hear sometimes, particularly with millennials, that they will move somewhere that they like and try to find a job there versus moving somewhere where there's a job and learning to like that place.
That's true. And being a hashtag aspiring millennial, that's one of the things that I consider in every city that I visit.
Dell, in spirit.
Absolutely. But back to on the whole economic impact as it relates to Little Rock, as it relates to Arkansas. I think that you talked about AEDC a little bit earlier at the beginning of the show, and I think when Rockefeller founded AEDC in 1955. I came along much later and as director, I think in 93, much later, and had the benefits of what had been established in Arkansas to go from being an agrarian economy, which we are all very respectful of, to manufacturing, the Industrial Revolution, and now technological transformation. So as part of that, in 55, he founded AEDC. In 1960 is when he basically founded the Arkansas Art Center. So think about that. He had come from New York.
He knew.
He knew what it was going to take to create an economy. It's not creating a creative economy, it's creating a diverse economy so the state could sustain itself long term. When Rockefeller knew that in 1955. The good news is that in Arkansas, we know that today, and it's happening all over this state. Little Rock, Northwest Arkansas, I contend Crystal Bridges will sustain that economy long term because it will enable them to recruit the talent that they need to be successful long term. As companies are looking to make investments anywhere, they're looking at what it's going to take to have the talent to support their needs initially, short term, long term, and 25 years from now. If you're making a $100 million investment, you have to think about those kind of things. Yep. And people want to live in places that are sustainable, for one thing, that have the arts to support their needs. I talked to a woman the other day, I said, why did you, when she's from Eastern Arkansas, originally from Memphis, I said, why did you move to Little Rock instead of somewhere else when her husband passed away? She said, I moved to Little Rock for one reason. I wanted to take classes at the museum school at the Arkansas Art Center.
There you go. Well, let's talk about that. This is one of the things that I want to hear more about. What will the museum school do?
The museum school will get a complete overhaul. It will expand by roughly 25%, which allows for bigger classrooms, more students in there so we can serve more people. But also, importantly, one of the things that's changing in the museum school, but also throughout the Art Center, is engaging with the green space of the park. So the current Art Center basically turns its back to the park in many ways. As you walk around the outside of the building, it's mostly solid brick. And what we know is that people expect that combination of art and nature, that connectivity.
It's a beautiful park over there, too.
Exactly, and because we're in a
so.
park, we really need to be taking advantage of that. And so having natural light come into the spaces where it's appropriate is very important and very much a part of this new design. So the museum school studios will have windows, they'll look out into the park, there will be doors where they can go outside and work outside or come inside into the studios. So it's a much more sort of invigorating, creative atmosphere instead of sort of closed boxes with fluorescent lighting, which isn't as inspiring as it could be.
Get this done soon. I got a few more years and then I get to retire and then I'll be needing some things to do. So.
But by the way, that museum school, the last 5 years, 10,000 students in that museum school at the Arkansas Arts Center. So think about what an expanded museum school is going to mean to this city. And
You mentioned, Timmy, just more open spaces and more public spaces too, but will there be new wings of things that will you bring something new on board that is not there?
Yes. So there are a number of new spaces. There is a new sort of glass pavilion restaurant, which comes out on the south into the park and really engages with the park. On the north side, we're doing some editing of the current building to reveal that original 1937 Art Deco facade, which is beautiful. It's been hidden in the internal part of the building, and now we're going to turn it back into the main entrance on the north side of the building. And above that will be what we're calling the cultural living room, which is sort of a glass box which looks north toward the downtown skyline, which is one of those places that has where you can have a cup of coffee, have a glass of wine, engage with it. It'll be adjacent to the gallery spaces, so you can come out of the galleries, kind of talk about what you saw. We'll have materials there about the works that you saw. It's a place to open up a laptop, spend the afternoon, being in a wonderful, enriching atmosphere that is completely flexible for events and all kinds of things.
I think the sequel to Ferris Bueller's Day Off needs to be filmed in the Arkansas Arts Center there. Was it hard raising the money? Dale?
that would be.
You're a board member there. Come on now.
We are
let Todd talk
currently,
about that.
so this is a public-private partnership, right? So the city, there are bonds from a 2-penny sales tax on beds, and so the city and the private sector are coming together to do what will be a really kind of monumental investment in not just the Arkansas Arts Center, but in the in downtown Little Rock, in Central Arkansas.
Yeah.
So we're so happy to have the city support, and we have our capital campaign chairs, Harriet and Warren Stevens, and so they are heading up that private sector. We're in the silent phase right now, and so that is moving forward. They're heading it up. They're doing such a fantastic job that we're all just so excited that this can happen. I mean, it's aggressive.
They've got some talent. They may come through for you in the clutch on that one. So.
Well, what's important is that it's a community effort.
Yeah.
Right, that everybody gets involved and everybody supports it, because the Arts Center, from its very beginning, has been a grassroots organization. Right, it's been about community coming together to involve themselves in the visual arts and in theater. And so we want that to continue with this new Arts Center and have the community support from the very beginning, that they feel a part of it through their participation in the capital campaign.
I'm going to give you the last word on this subject. What else needs to be said that hasn't been said already about the Arkansas Arts Center and this big expansion project?
You know, as Little Rock and as Arkansas competes for business and industry, and you know, this is my world, it's the world I've lived in for a number of years. You know, the fact that we have amenities such as, you know, the strong arts community that we have across the board. And now we will have in 2022, I guess will be when it is, in 2022, we will have a world-class architectural. You know, we haven't even mentioned Studio Gang, and I was telling someone in South Florida recently, Studio Gang was designing our new art center. They said, Studio Gang? So people will come to Little Rock not only just to see the collection, but they will visit here not only will it mean so much to the people who live here, but it will mean something to those that are visiting the state and are visiting Little Rock, to come see the architecture, come see the collection, and come see the other significant architecture that we've invested in with the Clinton Library and the expansion at Robinson Center.
Yep. All right, Del Boyette, Todd Herman, thank you both very much for being here. Appreciate you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Roby.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Roby Brock. We'll see you next time.
Arkansas Electric Cooperative Corporation provides electric energy across 2/3 of Arkansas. This is an exciting time in our energy history, with incredible progress being made in renewable energy and storage technologies. As our energy portfolio continues to diversify, we'll maintain an all-the-above strategy to provide reliable and affordable electricity. Ever since the first light bulbs were placed in our members' homes, the electric cooperatives have been the solutions provider for our members, and we want to continue that well into the future.
Each day, the promise of our nation begins again. Arkansas and America, moving forward. I help make that promise a reality. It's not for everyone, but people everywhere depend on us.
Oh, I love you too, sweetie.
Trucking delivers, or everything stops. And that's what drives me.